God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we'll ever be able to utilize. And our gift back to God is to utilize as much of that talent and ability as possible. Yeah. So when we look at that and we say, where can I get better and still be enough right now? Where can I go to new heights that I've never experienced and be perfectly fine with the present moment? That is a powerful place to stay.
Yes. With Kaleo and Mika, so grateful that you all are here. I'm going to give everybody an introduction to these beautiful people in just a second as we're building a little traffic. So while we're doing that, I want to take a moment and just let everybody know how grateful I am to be here today. Welcome as people are streaming in. Let you know a little bit about Rythmia updates. We are open. We are accepting new reservations. And life is good down in Costa Rica. You know, when you come to Costa Rica, you don't have to do a PCR test to get in, but you come in and Rythmia tests you when you get there. So everybody is on property, is already tested before they arrive. So it's pre-COVID. You get to, you know, you can hug people. People come up to me and go, you know, long as you have hug anybody. So that's awesome. All going. And then now the United States has a requirement that you need a PCR test, a negative COVID test to get back in the country. Well, you know, Rythmia has kind of got it all covered because you can get the test right there at Rythmia. We have a full clinic on property. So we've set it up so the test happens during the course of your stay. It's seamless. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. And the results are ready for your takeoff. So we got it all planned out for you. Call 866-936-9446. Well, it's 866-936-9446. And the number listed on the bottom of your screen. And about Rythmia. Now we've got a bunch of people in the loving room, as we know. So I get to do a beautiful introduction of my soul family. So beautiful, beautiful people. And so I'm just gonna pardon me for reading this because I could just wax on and I will. I will. But let's get the lowdown, the 411 on Kaleo and Mika are the lead energy healers, transformational coaches, and plant medicine facilitators for the Thrive Integration Program. Through their spiritually based and results-oriented program, they support and guide people to heal their pain in order to discover their superpower and live into their life's purpose. Together, they bring over 20 years of experience into the fields of spiritual psychology, Reiki, energy healing, yoga training, meditation, light language transmissions, mediumship, higher consciousness channeling, life purpose coaching, angel card reading, sound healing, plant medicine integration, and a lot more, I'll tell you. The sacred mission in life is to heal, uplift, inspire, and guide light workers and light warriors to align with source energy and live into their greatest version of self. That's possible. Yes. That's who these folks are about. Are you all ready to talk? Hi, welcome.
Love it.
Oh, thank you, JJ.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction. Yeah, it's so beautiful to be with you, brother. You know how much we love you and we love your light and we love what Rythmia is doing and Gerry and everyone down there at that staff. I mean, if you haven't visited Rythmia, it is the place to go. It is one of our sacred spots and it actually has been very influential in how we just move through space. Our way of being has been shaped by our experiences at Rythmia and what has been created down there. So a little plug there or a lot of plug. I'm here to just tell you that is the place to go.
We could plug Rythmia all day.
And we do.
And we do. Yeah, we do.
I know you do. Yeah. I'm so grateful. And, you know, but we met before Rythmia. We
did.
Yes.
So I was trying to remember, was it that, you know, we're both members of Agape International Spiritual Center.
Yes.
And I think it was at Agape that we first met.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember the moment because Mika goes,
I introduced you to. Yeah.
Well, you were on stage. You were on stage doing your thing. And Mika goes, oh, it's JJ. And I go, who's JJ? And she goes, oh, it's a guy from Rythmia. And I heard you keep on talking. And I go, I want to meet that guy. I want to meet that guy. I'm going to meet that guy and I'm going to love that guy. I know it right out of the gate. And we met in the little lobby there afterwards. And it was just like, it's on, you know, I think we went to the Super Blooms later on that week. We had our little bromance.
That's right. We did. You know, and you guys were with your beautiful kids, and I remember that, like, just being like, whoa, too much light. Who are these people? You know, you're just like, super, you know, and it was just so beautiful. And then we went and did a hike. And it was after one of the major rainstorms, and the hillsides of Malibu were just a bloom.
It was bursting, and it was after the fire, so that contrast with these beautiful blooms and the fire and the charred earth, it was just a wonderful kind of like metaphor for life, right? In these times when, in what we talk about is in times of our greatest pain, we experience our greatest gains. And just like the Hawaiian Islands, you don't get that paradise without first having all of this violence from the volcanoes, creating this perfect foundation for paradise to grow. And so similar like our lives and similar what they teach at Rythmia and what we've learned over the course of all of our years is you have to go into the darkness. In fact, the darkness is our access into the light, into this blooming, into this blossoming. So it was just a beautiful metaphor on that day, beautiful metaphor for the Hawaiian Islands. And really nature shows us the way. You know, we don't have to look too far. We just have to breathe in, breathe out to know that everything is a part of that life and death cycle. And when we can get into that vibration, that we are just one small note being played, but a beautiful note. And how we express ourselves is how that note is played out into the world. So we just give to nature for this breath and for all of the lessons that we learn every day in every way, with the seasons changing, with the Hawaiian Islands, and with this connection right here, this beautiful connection right here between light brothers and light sisters and everybody listening and everybody viewing in right now. Just that breath that we're taking as we speak is just a beautiful reminder of how magnificent and beautiful this life is.
I concur.
Please, yes.
No, I said I concur. Ditto.
Ditto.
Beautiful.
Super ditto. I'm going to tritto.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Are we a truffle now? You know, I love that. One of my favorite teachers from Ghana, Brother Ishmael Teta, you know, he says, you know, nature is my teacher. And I so have been in tune with that. And the aspects of integrating the light and the dark, you know, my intention for 2021 is harmony. Harmonize. The word is harmonize, harmonizing all of those disparate parts, those parts of me that I want to just cut out and get rid of, that I want to fix, all the things that I'm trying to change about myself. And you know, the lesson has come that I cannot change anything that I don't accept. And that condemnation does not liberate. Condemnation oppresses. And that condemnation, that judgment of myself leads me to my own inner civil war. You know? And so this integration of all those parts, not cutting them out, getting rid of them, fixing them, changing them, but welcoming them. And harmonizing with them in full acceptance. And so I'm so with you on that. And this leads me to my next, to my really interesting question that I love to start with, is your story of germination, right? Because I know from our years together, I know both of your incredible stories, but I want you to share that with our community, how you got here. And I know there were lots of awakenings along the way, but give us a little background of sort of, you know, like deep history background a little bit, and then this latest iteration, your move from LA to Nevada City or to Reno, and what transpired as you are bringing forth Thrive and how that's coming to fruition. Because I think, you know, this story, when one shines, it means we all can shine. You are living your purpose, you're living your life, and that's what everybody's up for, right? And we see so frequently at Rythmia, an insight, a revelation occurs, and an awakening, but life seems the same, and people are like, well, I had this transformation, and now life's got to kind of catch up to it. And that process of awakening and then life transforming to meet the awakening, you guys have so beautifully illustrator. Can you share with us a little bit about that process, your germination process?
Yeah. Go ahead,
wow.
man.
There's so much.
There's so much.
It's like, where do we start?
I was born a poor child.
Right? Exactly.
Go ahead, man.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll start. I mean, I'm going to start with childhood because that could take all day, but I'll start with what's coming forward for me as a starting point is 20 years ago, I started getting downloads. And I didn't know what a download even was.
Yeah.
And it was downloads from Pleiadian beings. And I had no idea what a Pleiadian was or the Pleiadians. So it was beyond me. But I started getting these messages in dream state and awakened state as well about this huge shift in consciousness that was going to occur on the planet. And that part of my mission was to gather light workers, which I didn't really even know what a light worker was at that point, but that I was to gather light workers and I was to help them shine their brightest. And I was to be like a cheerleader, basically, in this shift for humanity, in this shift in consciousness. So that was kind of this first sort of wake up, awakening for me. And I started studying and I didn't know why I was studying at all. I thought it was just for me. I'm like, okay, consciousness shift. What does that mean? What is consciousness? What is my own consciousness? So I went and I studied, I got my master's in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica, which was also another huge sacred awakening for me as well. And so, I'm just learning all these modalities over the years, really just using them for me. Then mediumship started to kick in. I just happened to be at this class learning, which I didn't really even, half the time I didn't know why I was learning what I was learning or why I was even at the class. And sometimes what it was even about. I didn't even know that this particular class I was taking had mediumship incorporated into it. And I started seeing beings and people's deceased loved ones. And so I thought, oh my gosh, okay, there's something here. And I started to really study that. Cut to, I'm a pre-K special ed teacher for 14 years, learning all this like other stuff on the outside, and I just became super miserable. Like I was not happy. I was learning all this mediumship stuff. All this stuff was coming in. All these, I was working on other modalities. I was not happy in my place of work. So miserable that Kaleo was like, "You need something here." And I came home and he had booked a trip for me to go by myself to Rythmia.
Surprise!
Yeah,
yeah.
And then
you need this.
Yeah.
Trust me, I wanted to go first, but I was like, "Hey, babe, it's time."
Yeah. I was miserable. I was miserable. I mean, I was addicted to certain things, and I just was not in a good place. And when I went to Rythmia, like I'm getting like tears are welling up right now because like Rythmia, honestly, like was when my feet landed on the grounds, it was like the mothership. I felt like, oh my God, this is the place that those Pleiadian energies were telling me about. So because I was seeing these pods of people 20 years ago waking up together collectively, these light workers gathering. And I'm like, this is that place that I saw 20 years ago. And so when I went into ceremony, it was just, all the lights went on. Everything. I now understood why I had, studied spiritual psychology, why I had learned all of these things. All of the mediumship started to come in more fully. And then Kaleo and I went to Rythmia again together. And that's when I was told, like, okay, now's the time, quit your job. You are to go full-fledged into helping the light workers to integrate either their plant medicine experiences or their awakening experiences, and just make sure that everybody's living on purpose, aligned with who they truly are. And that's what we did. We just, we stopped everything. We stopped in our tracks, and I was in mid-school year. It was December. And I remember telling she's like, "You're going to quit now?" To my principal. She's like, I'm like, I have to. I have to.
Canadians told me. I'm sorry.
The Canadians told me. They told me. Yeah, exactly. Okay, crazy lady, you're fired.
Exactly. But first, a psychological evaluation.
Exactly. Yeah, we kept a lot of that from my parents and my students at school. So then we went full-fledged into our integration program, and we're just so. It feels so good to be aligned with your purpose. Oh. You know, the level of people that we're gathering and who we're helping to help heal, and they're helping to heal us as well. It's just I there's no words. It's just it's so beautiful. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Was there fear as you stopped mid-track, released your job, and went right? And the result of how, once you moved into a state of alignment with your purpose, how did abundance support show up after you aligned with that?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So what a great question. Yeah. So absolute fear. I would say terror.
Yeah, terror barriers.
Terror.
Like, one of our mentors
how am I going to do this? Where's the money going to come from? All the I'm not good at.
I have kids. Right? You guys have kids.
Yes, I have kids. I have a retirement. I have, we have insurance, health insurance.
All the things that go along with just your basic living. What everybody here who's listening can relate to.
And we're watching the comments. We're going to get to some of the comments, everybody, but we're thankful for loving it. Welcome everybody that's commenting.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'll tell you how scared I was. I got shingles, you get shingles. It was like, I was so stressed out at that point that I was so stressed out. And we were, so I was, and Kaleo too, we were so brilliantly guided through this process. At that time, we aligned with this amazing coach. And
several of them,
several coaches. Yeah. Like when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, here I have to make this move. And it was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. All of the people aligned with us who were teaching us mindset strategies, how to raise vibration, how to, even come into deeper alignment with our purpose.
Yeah. Paradigm shifts. Yes, and everybody can relate to having, this is my belief, this is my old paradigm, this is my old story. And what happens is that we conflate our identity with an old story, which I give thanks to, many modalities, which we've learned from Landmark to Bob Proctor to Neville Goddard to Reverend Michael, to all of these individuals who have come into our lives, and many, many more, who have taught us about, here's the story, and then here's what happened. And when we can uncouple the story from what actually happened, we have the opportunity to be in a space of pure potential and possibility. Because then we're not held back by, I can't do this because of this. See, many times we argue for our limitations before we even give ourselves an opportunity for the faculties of our imagination to see what's possible. We say, I am this way, so this doesn't make sense. I can't do this. But most of the time, it's all based on some type of prior teaching, some type of paradigm that's been placed in there by our early childhood influences, even from our ancestral emotional DNA, which science has proven at least 5 to 7 generations. But as we know, it goes back even further than that. That's within us spiritually, or some, if we want to go there, into past lives. And what we have learned and what we've experienced and what we are actually holding in our spiritual, emotional, mental bodies as a paradigm can be shifted and transformed so that a new way of being is opened up. And that's what's available when you go to Rythmia, is because this narrow thinking that all of us have a paradigm that we're living into. And when we take the medicine, we become the medicine. So what happens is that the blinders come off, and then a new realm of possibility exists and is opened up. And when that new realm of possibility exists, and we go and have these beautiful plant medicine ceremonies and experiences, many times, as even Gerry talks about, you can have a dip that comes back down because there's the old paradigm thinking is in there still. So you can have an emotional event that shifts everything very quickly. And then there's also the work that needs to be done when you come out of these plant medicine experiences. It's the integration that needs to occur. And so what we've also learned is about the chasm between knowledge and action. I know what to do, and then there's the actions that I want to take, but there's a big chasm there. How do we close that gap? How do we close that old paradigm thinking that says I can't, I won't, I'm not enough, I'm not able? All of these things that we know when we were in plant medicine ceremony, a lot of that is taken off. We say, wow, look at this new way of being that I'm living into. Feel into this love, feel into this connectedness. And that isn't something that comes just with the plants. It's something that is within that the plant reveals. And it's nothing that we ever have to get or acquire. It's just revealing that inner light that's within. So going back to your question about was it scary? Yes, very, very scary to make that leap and say, we're going to give our life over to this. We are dedicating our lives to this sacred mission. And what was beautiful is that, like Mika said, all of these things started to come into alignment. And that's what happens when we start living on purpose and living into our sacred mission, is that these individuals come into space. These individuals come into alignment. The abundance shows up. And really, the abundance for at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the journey, what is the feeling that we're looking to manifest? What is the experience that I want to have? You could put it on, I want to have more money. I want to have the relationship. I want to have the career. I want to work out and have this nice body. But when we take a deeper look, what we're really looking for is an experience of an emotional feeling and a feeling that is within. So that feeling can be conjured now. We never have to wait for the Ferrari to show up in the garage for us to have the feeling of the Ferrari showing up in the garage or to have this beautiful home. We can go into those sacred spaces. We can go into that quantum field. We can start to do the manifestation exercises to get in alignment with that vibration. And then the law of resonance is that this is who I am. And then in kind, the law of attraction brings those things into our lives. And this is what they've been talking about for thousands of years. But I love what plant medicine is doing now with this beautiful resurgence, because it's allowing, especially the Western world and the Western thinking, to say, is the paradigm of the old competition model, of the old I have to have, do, be model, is that really in alignment with what my truth is? And when we really start to go deep into our own wisdom, our own internal wisdom, our connection to nature, our connection to that divine within, we realize that it's really the be, have, do model, be, do, have model, which is how can I get into this frequency now? And that's what we're seeing with the ascension process. That's what we're seeing with the human consciousness shift right now. People are turning on and realizing that I can be joyful now. I can be happy now. I can be fulfilled now. And what pours out of that is that nature and the universe meets us in kind with those things that are in alignment with that. That's the beauty of our power. That's the beauty of plant medicine, is showing us that. And that's really how we've been called, to help people to turn on in that way. So that chasm, here I am, this is my knowledge of what I know I need to do and what I need to experience in order to have that feeling. And then on the other side of that, if there's a canyon, we help to be the bridge. We help to be the bridge so that people can be on the other side without having to take those big dips.
And we had to go through it ourselves in order to help people to learn to do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What I really love about what you're saying is, first of all, we talked about earlier in the conversation about the darkness. I love to say that, the light reveals things for what they are, but in the darkness, things are revealed for what they could be. And it's referring to this notion of, the realm of what we don't know, right? Like,
that's right.
Anything out, our paradigm is what I know, and what I know, I don't know, right? I know I don't know these things. I know I don't know how to speak Russian. I know I know how to speak English, but I don't know, I don't know a lot of stuff, right? And it's from that realm of possibility that these new ideas emerge. And so the how, I think what's so important about what you're saying is the how is not important. I don't have to know how I'm going to be happy. I don't have to know how it's going to manifest in abundance. Yeah. And I'm reminded as you were speaking of one of my favorite quotes from Myrtle and Charles Fillmore at the founding of Unity Church. And they were a husband and wife founding the church. And you used this phrase, Kaleo, you said, I would dedicate my life. We dedicate our lives, right? And so that's what triggered that memory. Is at the founding of Unity Church, Christmas Day, 1890 something, they handwrote. I found their handwritten declaration, and they say, "We, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, husband and wife, dedicate our lives to the spirit of truth.
Oh man!
And for said devotion, the Spirit shall render unto us an equivalent of abundance of all manner, peace of mind, health of body, and all needs met."
Yes.
Period.
That's right.
That was the declaration of unity. We devote ourselves to truth, to the spirit of truth. I know that in kind for this devotion, I don't know how it's going to show up. I don't have to know any of that. But health, peace, and abundance, material, spiritual, physical, mental, abundance. So this is what's so powerful about what you're speaking of. I want to take a moment here and we've had so many comments. Wow, everybody. So everybody's like loving this conversation. Thank you, Belinda and Betty and Beth and Karen. And I saw, Emmanuel from Ghana, and Brother Ishmael Meta is in Ghana at the Ethereum Mission. I wonder, Emmanuel, if you are familiar with Brother Tete. And John Sway and Claudia, and oh my goodness, just so many people, too many to name. Leslie, thank you all. There was a question here about
thank you, Jane.
Yes, right. Everybody's just so on. Patrick Jorge asked, how many levels, stages of ascension do you believe there is? And I thought that was, a great question because, I mean, infinite, right? Like
that's right. What I would say.
100%. I mean, when we start to put like how many levels, that's our human concept of what's possible. But as we know, there's an infinite amount of dimensions. There's an infinite amount of possibilities. There's an infinite amount of levels for ascension. But what we're dealing with right here is saying, okay, what is possible? Again, it goes back to the paradigm of what we think is possible, and then being able to manifest and actualize that thing. But we're in the ascension process. We're babies. I don't care who you are. We're just crawling here, and we're looking to kind of catch our footing. And so, but the beautiful thing is, just catching our footing is is a huge win. We're seeing the transformation. So we're just babies in this thing. The possibilities of just being able to go into your imagination, use the faculties of your imagination to say what is possible. What is possible as far as ascension is concerned? Being able to connect with individuals without the barrier of language, because our language only allows us to connect so much. I can't really express to you in language love. Even the greatest poets can try to have you feel it. The greatest filmmakers can try to have you feel it. But when you're talking about energy, this is a whole new level. So when we're talking about ascension, what's next? It's beyond our wildest imaginations.
Amen.
Right. But we can start to dip into it a little bit by using the faculties of our imagination of what's possible. But how many levels? It's infinite. It's infinite.
I've been this week. I set, in my journaling this morning, I just set this intention this week that I wanted to be really gentle about it, but add an extra meditation at some point during the day to really sit and contemplate what it is I'd like my life to look like. What is it? What would I love to experience without any like how about it or the steps in between, but to really, as you're saying, as you're both saying, right, this living in the imagination and the dreaming, right? Today is MLK birthday.
Yes.
His birthday was the 15th, but today is the day we honor it. And I mean, this is the man who had a dream.
Come on.
Who spoke a dream into existence that nobody could imagine.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the day to honor his energetic signature for all of us as you bear this beautiful message, Mika and Kaleo, of dreaming our lives into existence, speaking and dreaming. So tell us a little bit more about, well, you know, Kaleo and I chatted yesterday briefly, and we were talking a little bit about competition. And how this, you know, everything is working together for our good, even the apparent negative things, our ego, all of it, and competition, right? Like all of those, you know, even envy and jealousy. I just created a new word, envy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
But even envy and jealousy can be, and guilt and shame can be pinpricks that bring us to a deeper understanding of something. So I'd love to let you pick up on anything on that thread. Competition, dreaming what's possible, dreaming life into existence, whatever you want to pick up on.
So let me just share real quickly, because MLK has been one of my mentors. I just adore what he stood for, and I just love his quote. I just want to share that really quickly, that darkness cannot drive out the dark. Only light can do that. And hate can't drive out the hate. Only love can do that. You know, and sitting in that love and that light that we all are, and touching on this idea of competition versus collaboration is really what we're looking at. And so you have an individual like MLK who came with love and light and was following his sacred mission to bring that love and light and to do it collaboratively. And see, there's a lot of people now will say, you know, we need to get out of this competitive mindset. I get it. And at the same time, there is a huge amount of growth that can be gained when we compete without attachment. Right? When we compete with another individual, and I come from a sports background. I shared a little bit with you the other day that I was on the UCLA football team, got the Rose Bowl ring and all that kind of stuff. It feels like a lifetime ago. Feels like a lifetime ago. But what I realize is that in that arena, there is tremendous growth when you are up to compete. And when we are ascending in this ascension process, we can be in that energy of competition as a joyful competition, in a way of not being attached, but looking to experience the best of what we can do, the best of what we can experience, the best of who we can be.
Yes.
And like, you know, and what they say is that, you know, God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we'll ever be able to utilize. And our gift back to God is to utilize as much of that talent and ability as possible. So when we look at that and we say, where can I get better and still be enough right now? Where can I go to new heights that I've never experienced and be perfectly fine with the present moment? That is a powerful place to stay. And if you put that in the energy of competition or wanting to thrive, or we, like one of our mentors says, is we're goal-seeking organisms. We get up in the morning, we drink our water, we go out for a run. We're striving to keep on elevating, to keep on going to the next level. This is what the ascension is about. So if we put competition in this space of ascension, of just going to a new level, boy, it is beautiful, magnificent, and it's something within us that is calling us to go to greater heights. This is spirit working within us. And at the same time, being just like the yin yang symbol, they work as one. So collaboration is absolutely important for this ascension process. So you have competition on one side, collaboration on the other side, and what you have is that yin yang symbol is ascension. How do we ascend? Utilizing all of that with the acceptance that they are both in there. So that's how I see competition and collaboration as we move forward. It's a beautiful thing, nothing to shy away from.
Well, I agree, you know, and that notion that any one of our success does not limit someone else's success.
That's right.
It's that zero-sum game that we kind of get locked into in terms of competition, that, well, yes, I win, you don't. But yes, really it's this greater sense of the deeper realization that it's good for all.
Yes.
And that my success or your success, really, it's your good is my good. My good is your good.
Yes.
I can't do one thing to you without doing it to me. That's right. Simple. I mean, it's so simple. We've heard it, but there's an art to simplicity.
Yes. That's right.
I think in midst of all of this conversation, Jessica has a beautiful question about waking up in a relationship where their partner might not be on the same path.
Yes.
And and then the next comment below from Karen is, you know, open heart, open mind, attached to nothing, Wayne Dyer. And my thought on this is, Pema Chodron has a beautiful teaching of 14th century Tibetan slogans. And one of them is, give up all hope of fruition, which doesn't sound especially uplifting.
Exactly, right.
Thanks, give up all hope.
Yeah.
Give up hope. Like, give up hope. That sounds like a resignation, right? But the idea of hope is that something will be better, that your partner will be better, that there's a better partner, that there's a better career, that there's a better car, that there's a better body, that there's a better something. And all of that is some sort of fantasy about the future or a nostalgia about the past. But wherever it is, it's not present. And the only access to the eternal now, that eternal realm of infinite possibility, is through the now moment, the present.
Yes.
And so to the question that Jessica has about waking up, is to be so present in love, just as the MLK quote above. I mean, there's so much wisdom in here. I've decided
I love it.
Hate is too.
You guys are great.
Yeah, right.
Like, you guys are great. Everybody on the chat is just like getting uplifted, and and humorous, and just beautiful light workers. Love
collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration. Exactly.
Right here.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead, brother.
And that's the piece that says, love your partner just as they are. Love is the extension of oneself for the genuine care and nurturing of your own and then another's spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. This is from The Road Less Traveled, M. Scott Peck. The extension of oneself, going beyond what's comfortable for you. The extension of oneself beyond your current platform. Yes. And then you've got to take care of your own spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, and that of another's. And in that place of loving and accepting someone, love is also accepting everything they are and everything they aren't.
That's right. This is it. That when you said acceptance, that's what we're looking at. Especially, relationships with a spouse, relationship with our children, relationship with our family, because these are our soul packs that we come in with, right? Yes. And some of my hardest relationships were my greatest teachers. So if we're in a relationship that is not fulfilling on what we're in alignment with, we first have to first breathe and then get into the acceptance that it is so. And what am I to learn here? What is the opportunity here? What is source? Why is source placed this into my space? Can I breathe into it? Can I see? Can I empathize? Maybe it's just a deep, radical empathy and compassion for the other individual that we're with. I don't know the specific situation, but I know that in my journey, this is how this works in order to find our peace of mind, our ease, and then be able to take action on going to the next possible relationship or healing that relationship or moving forward and journeying on to another realm or way of being. everything that occurs in our lives, we were sharing about competition and collaboration the other day, JJ.
Yes.
Is that, you know, some people may or may not know Conor McGregor. He's this MMA fighter, and they asked him after one of his biggest losses. He's a real chatterbox, so he was talking himself up, and he had this loss, his biggest loss of his career, and the announcer came up and said, you know, Conor, what are you going to do now that you lost? You know, biggest loss of your career. What are you going to do? And he said, all I have in my life are wins and lessons. All I have in my life are wins and lessons. I never lose because I'm always taking a lesson out of it. So where can we take a lesson out of the struggles that we are experiencing right now? Breathe into it. Go into it. Look for the good. Scan for good. Scan for the opportunities and the lessons that we are to learn here. And then there's never a problem. There's only solutions. And this is the opportunity that we have every day, regardless if we're in a relationship with someone we love or someone who we're looking to heal in with. And like Ram Dass says, I always share this. You think if you think you're enlightened, go visit your family.
Right.
Right. Because you get triggered. Who on here does not get triggered? Everybody gets triggered, right?
Ooh,
so,
boy.
right. So, or you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we're not going to say it's all rainbows and butterflies, because it ain't. But it is all. We love rainbows and butterflies, and we right. And so we love to experience and unicorns, lots of unicorns. But those, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, this journey through life with all the adulation and undulation, the ebbs and the flows. There's just always a place to find gratitude, even in the darkest moments. And I love my Viktor Frankl, my brother Victor. You know, in this, for those who don't know, he was a Holocaust survivor. Went through the Holocaust. Was starved near to death. Lost all of his family, and in those places, he found peace. He found purpose. And so you look at a man like that who had gone through that. Could be man, or could be woman. There's plenty of stories like that on the with women as well. But they go through something that is so trying. But what they had learned in those darkest moments is something that they give to the rest of the world. Yeah. And that's what we share a lot about, you know, especially Rythmia, or what we also teach at Thrive, is that through discovering what our pain is, going into the pain, discovering what your superpower is, because Spirit always gives us something in those painful moments when we look deep enough, and then living into our purpose, using that superpower to then be a contribution to the world. That's what all of us have the opportunity to do every day. So the triggers will come. Like the Buddha says, pain is natural, but suffering is optional.
Yes.
So how can we take that pain and, just like the Hawaiian Islands again, create that foundation for paradise to grow? That's the opportunity every day, every moment. And through acceptance.
So beautiful, brother. And you know, and in that same piece, there's a sort of surrender.
Yes.
To God, surrender to Spirit, knowing that we have been carried all along. You started the conversation by saying the breath, talking about the breath, right? And it's just like the breath. Like, we can concentrate on the breath for a moment. We can remember it. We can control the breath. We can do all of that. But then we're going to go on, and during the course of our day, we're going to forget about the breath.
That's right.
The breath is still breathing us.
And it's
and this is the love of God. This is the light of this universal presence. And so to Jessica is, you know, all of this love and acceptance, but to trust in the process, that there is a presence that has been breathing you, that has been beating your heart closer than your neck vein, you know, nearer than your hands and feet. This presence will reveal to you the correct course of action.
Yes.
If you stay open with, and another Ram Dass quote around this is, you know, if you want to know the truth, give up your opinions. And so we can't know anything about the situation or any truth if we are locked in our myopic perception of who your partner is, or who you are, or what the relationship is. Not saying that it could be you're together, you could be apart, but
that's right.
The correct course of action will reveal itself without you having to strive or figure it out, or do a pros and cons list, or any of that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Yeah. And I always like to think of relationships and the people that come into our lives. Everybody is an angel, and everybody's been put in our field to reflect something to us, to help us to learn and to grow. So the relationship that Jessica's in, that you are his angel and he is your angel.
Yes.
And for me, the space to always look is what is this reflecting to me?
Yes.
What's my biggest objection within this relationship?
Yes.
What is that? And how am I relating to that objection within?
Yes.
If there's a judgment that comes up,
yes.
or a story that you're running on your partner, it usually, if we really take a deep look, it usually is something that we're doing to ourselves within.
Always.
A judgment
Yep,
that we are putting onto ourselves. And that's the hardest place to look, but it's always the most healing, because we're taking our power back.
That's right.
When you do that, you're taking your power back. It's not his fault.
Yep.
He's doing this and he's not waking up. It's okay. What is this reflecting to me? And really getting clear with that. And then, we always when we talk to our clients, there was a beautiful book called conscious loving. Conscious loving.
I've got plenty of unconscious loving.
Exactly.
You don't need to go there.
Trying to get out of that one.
Conscious loving. And really, it's telling our microscopic truth. With our partner. And that's the hardest part too, is because we have to, in order to get to like those little tiny minute details, we have to tell ourselves the truth, right? So it's looking at how we're judging ourselves, telling ourselves the truth, and then being vulnerable enough to share what's really going on for me.
That's right.
What's really going on for me, and being able to have the courage to share that with your partner.
Yes.
And when you do that, things open up. Open up. I mean, Kaleo and I have been through it many times, the microscopic truth.
We've been together for 20 plus years.
And it's not always rainbows and butterflies. And we
not.
actually got to a point, a few years ago where we thought we made part as friends. Maybe we were just supposed to be really good friends. And we had to work the process. We had to really work the process. And we realized what we were running childhood stories, my childhood wounds. I had a story that I was placing on him. So he had no choice but to show up as that person that I created in my story.
Yes.
And he was doing the same thing to me. And once we realized that, wow, we were operating from these wounded little children, and we could go in and heal those parts, our relationship totally shifted, because now I could see him again. I was like, oh, there you are, Kaleo.
Yes.
There's Kaleo. I was not seeing him for years. I was running this old story that all came from the wounded part of me that was looking to be healed.
Yeah. And those little flecks, when they do come up, now the access is, oh, I know that's my story. I know that, rather than it being, oh, she is doing this or he is doing that. You could be in that for decades until your last breath, being in he did this or she did that. But I love it when they say, when you're pointing your finger, you got three fingers pointing back at you, and you're pointing over here. That's how we can look at our lives, as a way to empower ourselves. So, a lot of people think that when I take responsibility for what's happening, I'm losing my power. No, we regain the power. Just like plant medicine, the counterintuitive actions are many times the most powerful. Go into the darkness to find your light. No, I don't want to do that. But that's the way to get your power, to heal yourself. I take 100% responsibility for everything that's showing up in my life. I don't want to do that. No, that is the access point. In order to gain your power, by taking the responsibility. We don't justify what other people are doing. No, that's a whole nother realm. But when we say, I am going to empower myself to take responsibility for how I see the situation, you're bulletproof.
Amen.
you're nothing can touch you there. So, and that's a powerful place that, again, the plants show, and even fasting. You know how much I love water fasting. Going for, it's upwards of generally 7 days every time or more. And what it shows us is that when I got the light turned on, and when I got the light turned on and it said, take out the food to gain energy. Take out the food in order to heal yourself. You crazy? This Hawaiian boy? I love eating. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be taking anything out of my mouth on a daily basis, 3 squares a day, and I love it. No, that didn't make any sense to me. But when I went in there, and it's something that all the holy books talk about. This fasting is just coming back around. I've been doing it for about 20 plus years. Before people were saying, "Oh, you should go fast," I was ignorant. I had no idea what I was doing. But Spirit called me. Spirit said, "This is what you're to do." And when I went in there, took that out, took the food out, that option away, I had the hugest breakthroughs, on par with plant medicine, on par with anything I've ever experienced. And again, it's counterintuitive. So where are the counterintuitive places in our lives? Taking responsibility for things that are obviously somebody else's fault, right? Going into the dark places in order to find our light. Yeah. Taking food out of our body in order to find energy and healing. These are counterintuitive truths, counterintuitive truths. So I just, those places are places that we can get into vibrational alignment. And we start to look again, when you were talking about that myopic point of view, you take the blinders off, and then pure potential and possibility exists. We're talking infinite. Yes. The only thing that tells us that we can is right here.
Yep.
This is it. Because this is always like, everything's possible, baby. Everything's possible. And so we get into that vibration, and again, unstoppable. I just love it. It's such a blessing to alive right now. We're alive right now. And we don't have to get anywhere. Just sink in. Take those deep breaths. Get into that meditation. Even if you don't like meditation, you can meditation in motion. Get into the flow. Like Bruce Lee said, be like water. Be like water. Where's that flow? And when we get into that flow, there's nothing like it. You could do it playing with your kids or your dogs or playing your instruments. But one thing is when we're lamenting about something else or having regrets and grudges, and it makes it a lot more chaotic to be in the flow.
Yes.
And we're talking energy work. So when energy is chaotic, it's hard for something to flow. It's like putting all the stones in the stream. We dam it up. We cinch the hose. But when we allow that channel to open up through these practices daily, putting in the reps, like LeBron James, he doesn't become LeBron James without putting in the reps every day. Ooh. Steve Jobs doesn't become Steve Jobs without putting in the reps. We have to put in the reps every day in order to gain, in order to experience, let's say, going back to the competition, the gaining and getting to another spot. In order for us to experience that place that we know is looking and searching to be birthed from within.
Yes.
That's what Reverend Michael talks about.
Yes.
That place from within, it's seeking to be birthed. You feel it. Everybody who's here you feel it. You feel what your next step is. You feel what you were to dip in. And if you ever have any of those chaotic, go in, meditate, breathe.
And the realization there that even the chaos, even in the midst of chaos, chaos is the precursor. Chaos is the precursor to peace and harmony.
Yes.
Confusion is the precursor to clarity. You know, and so no matter where we are, confusion in my relationship, it's something seeking to emerge. It's coming through. It's got to be here. Let me see it. Yes. Listen, I knew it. I just have to say, I was a psychic predictor that this conversation was going to fly by because you guys are so amazing. And
brother, we see you. We see you. I just want to sing your praises for a second.
Me too.
If y'all don't know who JJ is, this light being over here. And if you haven't been around him, which we've been blessed enough to share space and share energy, you're special, beautiful light. And you just are a unique emanation, as Brother Michael says. And we're just blessed to have been able to have this experience right here and to continue to grow and be in alignment with one another as we continue this ascension process. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yes, your energy is so much fun.
I know.
So fun
I
and
know.
intelligent and calming and joyful. It's just such a pleasure to be your friend and to be near you. To experience JJ.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm like mirror. Come on. I mean, just the flow. So thank you. I accept and receive those beautiful words of light you spoke into me. I am so grateful, and I receive them, and I am so grateful to reflect that back to you.
Yes, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Just the time. I mean, I'll tell you, when I first met you that day, and then I went back to our Malibu office, and I said, yeah, I met this couple, and I think they've been to Rythmia and Kaleo. Everybody in that was like, oh yeah, Kaleo. yeah. Like, they are, oh yeah, you're just catching up to them? Yeah, we know them. Like, that's how you roll, right? And
I love it.
I'm so grateful to all of our listeners.
Yes.
And the comments. Thank you, everybody. Me and Jane and Belinda and Karen. And I know that there were so many people. More Nushin was on here. And for some reason, the chat's going slow as Jane and just everyone. Thank you, Maya, Francis. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And so grateful for this time. You guys are going to be at Rythmia soon, right?
Yeah, we're trying to work things. There's moving parts, but
as soon as we can.
As soon as we can. Children's and things.
But
the correct course of action will reveal itself.
That's right. That's
exactly.
Right. And brother, I can't wait to go to Rythmia. Gerry, if you're out there, I'm looking forward to seeing you, brother. I love you. Oh. And if I may one moment, I would love whoever's like resonating with this, absolutely go to Rythmia. And if you are looking or seeking something that what we're talking about, that part that's being birthed from within, if there's something calling you for healing or transformation, we would love to connect with you. And just would love to connect with you in any way, shape, or form. And we have this complimentary clarity call. It's just very easy just to see where you're at. And we share energy. I guarantee you that we're going to give you something to live into on that clarity call. And if you're looking to say, hey, I want to take a deeper dive, just visit us. Everything will be in the chat. And if not, then just go to thriveintegration.com.
Or can they find you on Facebook or Instagram?
They can. Yeah. We're at Kaleo Salas, SALLAS, KALEO, at Kaleo Salas.
Yeah. And I'm at Mika Cooper, MEIKACOOPER.
But you want to know the easy way? Just go to lightworker.com.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys
I'm sorry. Lightworkerland. I'm sorry. Lightworkerland.com.
Okay. I was like, you guys got lightworker.com?
It's coming.
Land.
Hey, it's coming. It's coming. Not lightworkerland.com. I'm sorry. Lightworkerland.com is just a place. Yes.
Thrive Integration.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Oh, thank you, Mika, Kaleo. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for joining today. What a great conversation.
Yeah.
Love you guys. And
love you guys.
All right.
All right.
Everyone.
Love, light, and aloha. See you.
Everybody.
Love, light, and aloha. Pura vida.
Yeah.
Pura vida.